Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chesswise. Today we are at the next topic, which is our topic 5, and we are at the topic of attacking the king, which is a part of our crash course. So now we are going to look at a game like the previous lesson. This time it's a game based on the concept of attacking the uncastled. Let's go to the game quickly and see what happens. It's a Sicilian Rosoli move game, e4, c5. Beginning of Sicilian defense, nf3, nc6, bb5. This move begins the Rosoli move Sicilian. White wants to take on c6 and create double pawns perhaps. And black plays g6. Black is not much worried about taking on c6. So white castles. bg7. Another plan for white is to go c3, d4, especially because black played g6, bg7. Black plays e6. He could play nf6, but after e5 and d5, d4, it resembles like a c3 Sicilian position, but should be favorable for white. So black goes e6, white goes d4, c takes d4, c takes d4. And here black goes with the very tempting qb6. Tempting because he wants to attack the pawn on d4. He is counting on his play against the center. But the point is that white's development is already more and he wants to snatch the initiative. Look at the squares d6 and f6. They have become weak because the e pawn and g pawn both have moved. And here white found a very strong move. See, whenever we are trying to look to get an initiative, then what we do? We should offer the pawn. The black player is looking to take the d4 pawn. White may consider giving up the pawn. And for what we want to give up the pawn? For more development. So whenever opponent is taking the pawn, we should try to induce him to take the pawn with a moved piece which has moved again, or to capture it with a queen which will waste several tempi, and also it could be possible to keep him undeveloped. So these are the three motives for which we can easily give a pawn. On the other hand, side who is taking the pawn should ensure that his development is not going behind, or he already is more active. So in such a case, he can consider taking the pawn. White found the very strong move, knight a3. This move is missed by many. Maybe black also missed. Knight takes d4, and here comes knight c4. Note how this knight is being forced to move several times. First, qb5 loses to nd6 check. The queen would be lost. So black goes nf3 check, queen f3. Note especially how this knight moved thrice for the knight on f3, for which it traded for just one move. So knight moved 1, 2 and 3 for this knight which has moved only once. So two tempi are lost, and what we get here is result position. Black has two developments, white has 1, 2, 3, 4, plus the move is his, because the queen will have to move. So we are taking that into consideration. Now the queen has serious problems. qc5 is met by b3. Queen d8 simply loses to nd6 check, f7 would be taken. So black plays qc7. White goes with the strong bishop f4. He must have seen the move e5. See, this is such a position where one would expect a combination to happen, especially after the move e5. See, generally I say that we should always calculate before playing move like bishop f4 against the move such as e5, because we are losing a tempo. But here see, after even e5, bg5 also, white is still much better. But of course, white started to look at a combination. Maybe he had seen already. After the move e5, white should look for a combination here, because see, development wise he already has 3 extra. Move is his, so it makes sense. Whenever there is a difference of 3 developments, as I always said, one should definitely look for a combination, and 99% of the time there will be a combination, which is what happened here. White started looking at the moves here. See, one is me5, most forceful move. Second is rook c1, trying to open the file. Also there is the move rook d1, intending nd6 check, which also looks impressive. White starts his calculation in the most forced, knight e5, be5, rook c1, forcing the queen to b8. qd6 will be met by rook d1. Situation becomes much worse. Let's see. Knight e5, bishop takes e5, rook c1. If q d6, there are amongst many things. White has rook d1, queen e7. First rook c8, and now the move rook d7, because the point is simple. Rook c1 check is met either by just bishop c1 or rook d1 check also. These ideas are very handy, we will see later also. And after the move qd7, bd7, kd7, most people easily realize that it's a lost position for black. The problem is that, now see, be5 we cannot capture because of rook c1 mate, black suffers due to the very strong qd1, and see it's game over. King e7 is perhaps forced, k e6 loses to qd5 check, k e7, queen e5 check, winning the rook on h8. c1 is guarded in that case. After k e7 there is be5, and now after the move f6 there is qd6 check, k e8, and we can do many things. I like the move bishop c3 here. I also like the move queen e6. Although it allows ne7, still bishop c3 it's also much better, or else direct bishop c3. Here king d8 loses to bf6 check, and white is winning. That's why black went with the move qb8 here directly, not allowing rook f d1. White's idea was clear, so definitely he had seen the move rook c8, so he went for rook c8. The queen on b8 is overloaded, protecting c8 and d5 both. So there comes rook c8 check, queen c8, bishop takes e5, forcing f6, bishop f6, knight f6, queen f6. It's almost game over. Black played rook f8, to which white could have won very easily, we will see. After rook g8 also, amongst many things, see there is queen e6 check, king f8, bd7. This is also very strong. Many people suggest the move rook d1, which is perhaps even stronger than going queen e6. This would, I think, immediately settle the game. Now rook f8 loses to queen e6, kd8 and rook d7. That's why black played rook f8 in the game. Here white could have won very easily actually. q6 check, this as I said, most students suggest this very easily. All players around 1600 range can also spot this. kd8 and rook d1. And there is no defense on d7 square. But what they cannot spot mostly is the move knight e5, which is little tricky actually. But if you have the feel of the positions, if you have studied many such games, it would be not very difficult. So after rook f8, white went queen e5 check, kd8. Here I think after kf7 the move ba4 is very strong, threatening bb3. Black went kd8, queen g5 check, k e8, and the point was this check was to control the c1 square, and now it's game over. qd8, queen e5 check, q e7. One student even asked me, the earlier line was very easy, why did white miss this? See, sometimes what happens, a player of such high caliber must have seen the line before only, and when the position came, he must have not bothered to cross check if there is something better. So such things can happen to anyone. Of course, see, this line is also easily winning. Now the problem is, see, there comes bd7 check. The game is settled here itself. Two small combinations. One is if kd7, then rc7 check followed by qe7 mate. So king f7, then be6 check. Another short combination. qe6 loses to rc7, and here ke8. Another move missed by white here. White played rook c7, to which black resigned, but you can see that qb5 check, kd8, rook d1 would have settled matters more quickly. After kc7 there is rook d7 check. Here after qc7, white won the game, black resigned. It's a total losing position, materially down, and all white has to do is just make clear his king position, the back rank he should secure, and he will win the game. So there were a couple of small misses we can say by white, but otherwise a terrific game. Black's play was somewhat poor, but this is what our many opponents do, and we are able to exploit. Do let me know how you found the overall format of this course. 3 chapters on position solving, 2 on game study. I am looking forward to your comments. Thanks for your time.